the computer. Okay. All right, who do we have that just joined us? Oh, wow, look at all the people. Mary, my friend, Nancy's here, yay. Oh, this is good.
Hello.
This is, and Mary. Oh, this is so awesome. Okay.
I thought it was going to be late.
Oh, no. You were actually early given your in Michigan time. Okay, what's the passcode? My friend can't get in. Hang on. Let's see here. That's the meeting ID.
Donna, the passcode is 792
Oh,
I got it.
701.
yeah,
Yep.
I just put it in the chat too.
Thank you. Did you have to put it in, anyone?
I didn't know.
Okay. All right. Okay, we're going to get started. Yeah, our secretary's not here. Well,
I can volunteer to take notes if you want.
thank you,
Donna.
Nancy. Perfect. Okay, I am going to call to order. That's my gavel. Our first kind of official meeting. I wanted to just review the history of the task force. We started in 2007. The conception came in 2004, the idea. And then 2007 when we became a nonprofit. And we were going gangbusters till like maybe 2013, and then things kind of fell apart. And so we were just limping along since then. And I took over last January because I had a bigger, broader vision for what I thought this organization could become. And so we are just kind of launching today. I mean, we had board meetings last year, but they were just kind of, just to kind of go through the motions, but we are so official right now. And it's really exciting. I'm so excited to have you all here. And what I'd like you to do is to just introduce yourself, tell me your name, and where you live, and maybe your position, just 3 lines. Okay, and we're gonna get started. Mary's at the top, so I'm gonna call on Mary.
Me, Mary?
Mary Radzinski.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Donna.
Yes. Well, you're at the top, so I'm going down.
Okay, I'm Mary Radzinski. I live in Plymouth, Michigan. Former teacher, a college employee, done a lot of different things in education, and I'm now currently a writer.
Correct. Thank you, Mary. Brian.
I'm Brian Raby. I live in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. I am a school psychologist currently in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin as well. I've been a director of special education for 17 or so of my many years. And I'm pleased to be a part of this wonderful organization, and can't wait to get started.
We're so happy you're here. Phil.
Hi, I'm Phil Heitmanick. I'm married to the Donna Effect person over there. I'm in Harshaw, Wisconsin. I'm not an educator in any way, shape, or form, but I live with one, and let's just say I've become a true believer in the cause. And my expertise is in things more technical than education.
And he comes in handy, I will add, for our needs for the task force. All right, Karen, you're next.
Yeah, hi. I'm Karen Howell. I live in Roberts, Wisconsin. It's near the Minnesota border here on I-94. I work actually at Clear Lake. I just previously was a school librarian for many years and now moved over to Title I reading specialist just since August. And I've just done a lot of diving into science of reading and just found this organization to be really supportive, which has not been the case for my CISA. And so I guess Donna just invited me, so I thought I'd come and see what was going on. So,
I'm so
see how I
glad
can
you're
help.
here. Are you CISA 11 or 12?
11.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Chan.
Hello, I'm Chan Stroman. I live in Madison, Wisconsin, and my day job is as a commercial real estate attorney. I have my own law practice, but I do a lot of extracurricular advocacy around educational equity for students of color and students with disabilities, and have really been honing in on reading in the past decade, and more intensively in recent years as the science of reading movement has really taken off. So advocacy and a lot of pro bono reading tutoring lately is what I do.
Thank you. All right, Connie.
Okay, hello there, everybody.
Hello.
So I finally made it. All right, so I've been with the task force since 2007, I guess, when we got the 501c3 status for nonprofit. So I worked on that with our founders, Nona Sarush and Lee Ganshaw, and was very happy when I took training years ago with that. I've had some exposure to multisensory reading methods prior to that, not a lot, but I've done tutoring, adult tutoring, and I've been the treasurer up right until December of 2021. I just handed over, basically. I'm happy that Phil took over the treasurer's position. So I've kind of been around for a while and happy to be with the task force.
And you've done a wonderful job.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right, Jackie.
Yeah, my name is Jackie Weisenberger. I'm retired right now. I say right now. I have worked as a high school teacher, a school psychologist, a school counselor. That was about 20 years of my history. Then I entered higher ed, got my PhD in educational psychology with an emphasis in learning disabilities, special education from the University of Minnesota. Stan Dino, for those of you who might know him, was my mentor there. And then I went in and higher ed, became the director of the School of Education at UW Stout, and then became the provost at Stout, and then became the provost at UW Superior. And I'm very interested in how higher ed can move forward in training teachers and bringing the science of reading to fore, so that school districts don't have to do a lot of catch up with their new hires. So
Wonderful. I didn't know that, Jackie, about you with your background, and I have a proposal for you, and I will talk to you after the meeting. Or
sounds good.
Yeah, I think you're going to be very interested in it. Okay, Nancy.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited. There's all these diverse skills here.
Nancy,
my name
your
is Nancy.
audio is really bad.
Is it?
Like you.
Is it better now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll leave it that way.
Okay.
So my name is Nancy Dressel. I live in Somerset, Wisconsin, not too far from Roberts, from where, just introduce themselves. That was from there.
It was Karen from Karen. Yeah, hi Nancy. Yeah, you're close.
Mhm. So over on the west side of the state, I taught in K-12 schools for 20 years, teacher and a curriculum specialist and instructional coach. I then retired about 2 years ago because I'm severely dyslexic myself, and so are two of my children. And so I couldn't keep up with the reading demands of my own job and the reading demands of supporting my children. And I knew that they wouldn't be able currently to have their instructional reading needs met within the Wisconsin public schools. So I retired and got trained in structured literacy, and I'm teaching my own kids at home, and they've made great progress, which is really exciting. And I've started an educational consulting business that I'm working with a few schools in the region right now. And what else? Oh, I'm a contributing author to the Wisconsin Dyslexia Roadmap. So area of passion, and it's so exciting to see so many interested people to collaborate with.
It really is. Thanks, Nancy. Oh, okay, Mary Gordon.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be involved. I have transitioned to education from a prior career in design and design education, but reading's always been a passion. I have several different special education license, which is what I do at this very moment. I'm a case manager and co-teacher at a middle school in St. Francis, but I also have a reading teacher license, which is where my passion lies. And I tutor at the Cardinal Stritch Literacy Center. I'm also wrapping up my doctoral courses at Cardinal Stritch in language and literacy. And I've been working on my dissertation, which involves reading, the reciprocal nature of reading and writing, but also kind of getting at this whole, moving away from balanced literacy to structured literacy. I don't think I missed anything. I'm not sure. Trying to keep it to 3 sentences.
Okay, thanks, Mary. All right, I missed Kelly Plitz somewhere. Did she leave?
No, I'm here.
Where did you go? There you are.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Kelly Plitt, and my technical or my official position is Vice President of a family-owned business. And we make furniture for businesses, healthcare, and education. So I'm kind of related in that way. So we make furniture for education. But my passion began with my son, who was diagnosed with severe dyslexia, apraxia of speech, ADHD, the whole dyspraxia, dysgraphia, the whole 9 yards. And then I have another son as well, both of whom are ELLs, having been adopted from China at later ages. And so that's having that diagnosis for my youngest son was really, really catapulted me into this passion of learning about reading. I had no idea at all going into it, just how much it would consume our lives. And so right now, I've been passionate about learning every possible thing I can about how to help him. And I've been down kind of the litigation road with my district a few times. But in learning how to help him and how to have school help him and steering them in the right direction for him and for others, I've learned quite a bit, not only about the science of reading, but also advocacy and special ed law, that kind of thing. And so right now I'm just kind of grassroots. I think my role right now in my community, I didn't say I'm from Greendale, Wisconsin. My role right now in my community is just to spread awareness, especially amongst parents. And I'm also kind of coaching 2 school board candidates that are making science of reading their platform. They're kind of coming into it green. But so basically, I really want to spread awareness in the communities and in the school districts at the parent level. So that's where.
Very good. All right. Thanks, Kelly.
Sure.
All right. I'm last. just briefly, I'm a retired reading specialist and special education teacher, and 41 years. I retired 4 years ago and started a Facebook page like a year later, and this is what happened. We've got so much interest at an international level. Of course, we need to work on Wisconsin, so that's what we're all about, working on Wisconsin and working out toward the rest of the nation and the world. So Jeannie forgot about the meeting. She'll be here in a few, so we're going to come back. We just need to approve the minutes, and there were just a few of us at the last meeting in December, so we'll approve those minutes when she hops on. So we're going to skip over to financial reports. And Connie, do you have any numbers in front of you?
Yeah, and the number that you have on the report, add $25 to that. And actually I had deposited a check of my own, just for member dues, donation, whatever. So when we closed out this checkbook, the number was 9484.88, $9,484.88. Okay. And let's see here. And the share account, called the savings account, is $520.73. 5 of that was just a member fee or a member share amount for the credit union, and $515.73 was to go to the Lee Ganshall Memorial. Okay, so the numbers on your screen are correct, except for add $25 to the first one, so it should be $9,484.88.
Perfect. Okay.
That's what was closed out. Okay.
All right, thank you, Connie. For those of you who don't know who Lee Ganshall was, she was the founder of this organization, and a dynamic professor from Ohio State University who came here and started this amazing work. And she passed away about 5-6 years ago, and I miss her dearly. She was a mentor to me and just a wonderful human being. Okay, Phil.
Yes, here I am. Okay. The Literacy Task Force is really in pretty good shape financially, as you can tell by the numbers that you're seeing on the screen. Everything here is accurate within reason, because our PayPal increases every time somebody signs up for another class, and I didn't look at it today, but that number, it was valid a day or two ago. If you add all of this stuff up, the Literacy Task Force has $50,118.61. That's where we're at right now. One of the things that we're doing is we had that other account at the credit union that Connie was talking about. We wanted to get everything consolidated into one bank, and we recently opened a savings account. We already had a Literacy Task Force checking account at Nicolay National Bank, which is a regional bank with a pretty big footprint in Wisconsin and the UP of Michigan. We now created a savings account there with the idea that we not have quite as large a balance in the PayPal account, since it makes absolutely no interest at all. At least in a savings account, we'll get some fractional amount of interest. And if the Federal Reserve raises interest rates, we'll get, a few pennies more. But the idea is to have more money in a bank and less money in PayPal. The PayPal, I don't know if you're familiar with why we have a PayPal account, but one of the enterprises that the Literacy Task Force has been undertaking over this past year of 2021 was having literacy training for teachers and anybody that wanted to take the training, a wide variety. And I am the wrong person to ask about, the intricacies of the various trainings. Any questions about that? Donna is the expert on that. But we had 15 different trainings in 2021, and we had takers on these trainings from all over the world. And one of those trainings was $25 a pop. Some of them were $5. Some of them were 10. I don't have a list in front of me of all the prices of each one, but in essence, we raised this money by providing training for people, and we had students in Australia, New Zealand, Okinawa, literally all over the world. Donna's footprint with the science of reading, we figured out she has followers in 99 countries around the world. Anyway, that's where the money comes from. And altogether, let me get the paper here. The Literacy Task Force trainings generated $82,000, or just slightly in excess of $82,000 last year in revenues from trainings. Now, of course, we had to pay the presenters and pay scholarships. The outflow from that was approximately $34,000, which resulted in us having a balance at the end of our fiscal year of just shy of $35,000 after all of the various expenses and transfers that we had to make. So this organization is in great shape financially, and hopefully we can use this money to advance the cause that we're working toward.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else, Donna?
No, that sounds good. I just wanted to reinforce what you said about the trainings. Like Phil said, we ran various trainings. Some were one event, some were 5 weeks, some were 10 weeks. So they, varied in length. But the charges were minimal. Again, some were free. It's amazing how much revenue we generated. We had one training, I charged $25 per person. We had over 900 enrolled in the class. So we got $25,000 plus from that. Don't expect that to happen this year. It's just not going to happen.
What was that class?
It was, which one was that? Differentiated instruction with Sharon Walpole. Yeah, it's
absolutely amazing, folks.
It really is.
We couldn't believe it, and the interest was extremely high from the people that read about these trainings on the science of reading, what I should have learned in college, Facebook. It's amazing, and I would say our satisfaction rate was about 99.99999%. We had one or two people that had some kind of complaint, or usually it was more a technical complaint rather than they didn't think the content was any good.
Mm-hmm.
It's just absolutely remarkable. But the point is, literally thousands of people have now received training in the science of reading, which really is the reason to be here, I think.
Right. What did we have? 4,000 plus transactions?
I knew you were going to ask me that. Yeah, it was, hang on, I can tell you. 4,745 individual transactions, and that would be somebody signing up for the course.
Mm-hmm. So keeping that in mind, I want you to think about that, because I don't think we're going to be able to duplicate that ever, just because. But as we move forward, I want you to think about what are some other ways we can generate income and keep the practice going of informing teachers. Okay. All right, thank you,
I have
everyone.
one- I just have one quick question.
Sure.
Okay, I just missed when you were talking about, when Phil was talking about the checkbook and the savings and everything. Did the credit union money go into that new savings account then? That the PayPal?
I haven't seen that money yet. Did
Oh, you
you
haven't seen
mailed
the
us
check
a
yet?
check?
Yeah, the credit union mailed it out.
Check's in the mail.
Yeah,
No, we
literally
haven't
it is.
received it yet.
Yeah, okay, it should be any day because
Okay.
it went out Friday. So,
Oh, all right.
okay, thank you.
No, thank you. All right, any other questions about that? All right, very good. So item B, Wisconsin Association of School Board Conference that Nancy and I attended in January, I don't remember, 17th, 18th, 19th, something like that. Nancy, do you want to speak to it?
It was a lot of work.
Yes,
and
it was.
wonderful,
I'm still
wonderful.
recovering.
Yeah, I think we both are. But what just an amazing opportunity. Attendance was lower this year. I think if I remember from the email you got, Donna, it was like about half of what they typically have had in their face-to-face. But it was really exciting. Our booth was busy the entire time. I mean, the second day we had people coming into our booth before the exhibit hall was officially open. And so it just amazing that I think we were the busiest booth in the entire exhibit hall. Just a little perspective, it's the state conference for school board members and district administrators. So it's the once a year learning opportunity for decision makers in school districts. I had attended it previously as a school board member. Don and I, were reminded very quickly that there aren't many instructional exhibitors or presenters at the conference. It's a lot more of a financial perspective and a legal perspective that is very typical. But we got such positive feedback. There were so many people who were like, why haven't we had exhibitors here like this before? And we're so glad you're here. And so we gave away, 110 books. We had 4 different books that we got from donors to give away at the exhibit. Some of Unlocking English, Conquering Dyslexia, Failing Students or Failing Schools, and
Shifting the Balance.
Shifting the Balance. And so we gave away almost all the books. I think we have 5 of Conquering Dyslexia and 5 of The Logic of English left. And then we had 9 different raffles for professional learning that went out to different school districts. It was over $7,000 in professional learning. And I think it went out to 12 or 14 different school districts. So that's really exciting, and wonderfully, all of the donors are approved for ESSA funding. So all of these districts are getting the opportunity to more deeply evaluate some of their options for ESSER funding, particularly with Motion 57. And so just an amazing opportunity that we have districts who are able to take advantage of that training this year and hopefully make more informed decisions with their ESSA funding. And we had a digital exhibit, and we've had a ton of visits on that particular page on the new website. And we have lunch and leads. So we have Donna and I did one right after the convention, and now Donna has an amazing lineup of literacy leaders from around the US and Wisconsin lined up for the spring. So I don't think it could have gone any better. It probably was good there was only 50% attendance, because I don't think we could have handled the traffic.
I think we might need a bigger booth next year if we do go to it. And Nancy did a tremendous amount of work. I just wanted to let everyone know she could be in marketing if this education gig doesn't work out. So just to review, I don't know if you can see everything. I know the number looks large, and it was, but some of these books that we purchased were actually donations made. Nancy ran a fund for donating, so about $1,000 was offset from here. But as you can see, it's not an inexpensive venture. It's quite expensive. We have enough stress balls and Post-its and koozies to last us about 10 years at least, right, Mary? And let's see, we did learn some things that you don't need electricity. You really don't need carpet, and they charge you for everything. So we learned not to do that. We own tables now because it's less expensive than renting them. We had to be masked up. We now have a personalized table runner, which is really cool. And we've actually rebranded the task force, and I'll talk a little bit about that when in the next item. Okay, now I got to figure out how to get out of here. Hang on. There we go. Okay. So that's that. So it was well received. We did great. Okay, so I just returned from not Nashville, New Orleans last week. What I wanted you to keep in mind when I talked about how we make money for this organization, in 2020, I was not part of the task force. And so I could see the writing on the wall by all the trainings I was doing, and that I was generating a huge amount of income that I did not want to get taxed on. So we joined the nonprofit for that very reason. So we'd have, money that is non-taxed. But you got to remember that the task force is really the front for the science. I should say the other way around. The science of reading, what I should have learned from college, what I should have learned in college, is the front for the task force. So all the money that is generated through the science of reading page is part of the task force. So we not only have a national audience, we have a state audience. And I want you to see the difference, okay? So what we do and what we say is not only for a state presence, but it's a national presence. And it's important that you know that I, as the president and as the face of the Science of Reading, What I Should Have Learned in College Facebook page, I get called a lot to either do presentations or to, do speaking engagements, or be involved at a variety of levels. Just this week, I was contacted by 2 people from national organizations that want to work with us. Last year, I was contacted by Reading Rockets, which is a national education site that wants to be part of us. So I'm saying all that because I'm prefacing why I feel that I need to be reimbursed for my travel expenses when I go to national conferences. So that's what I did last week. I presented with, it was myself, one of my moderators, her name's Jen Sear. She's a Title I teacher, has used the science of reading. She presented. Sharon Dunn is a former principal from California that in 10 years in less than 10 years, transformed her school using the science of reading systems and structures. And, all of her kids were doing great. And then Lori Severino is a professor at Drexel University who follows the science of reading. And so we presented all of our various buckets, so to speak, of how we all interact together as science of reading advocates. And it was well received. We had, over 100 people in our little presentation, and plus people watched virtually. So I don't even know how many people watched virtually. There were 3,500 people enrolled in that national conference. So ESEA stands for Elementary Secondary Education Act, which is, in other words, Title I, all federal money. That, billions of dollars we're talking here. So What I noticed at the conference was that there's very little presence on the science of reading. There were a few, but not very many. And in my thinking, we need to be there every single year. We need to be present. We need to get that word out. There's also other conferences that I'm thinking that we need to be interested in and attending, superintendent conferences, principal conferences, anything either at a state or national level. It would be nice if we could start infiltrating that, because what we're doing now, if you're in the science of reading world, many of us go to conferences that IDA puts on, Plain Talk, Reading League, Decoding Dyslexia, all the regulars. So we're just preaching to each other. We've heard the same story over and over and over again. It's an echo chamber. We need to get out of that echo chamber and start talking to the people who haven't heard this message before. So that's what I'm advocating that we do, in the next couple of years. I just think it's needed. So that's that. Okay, so future events along those lines. So here are some things that are happening in Wisconsin that we may want to consider. The Wisconsin Public Education Network has an annual conference, and I tried to get in as a speaker and was told that they were full, and that we could go, and they were also full as what, Nancy, do you remember what they said? That we were full as we couldn't get in?
Yeah, we couldn't get in. It was speaker, but we could exhibit.
We could exhibit there, but we couldn't even do it virtually for some reason.
Yeah, we couldn't speak yeah.
So I'm not convinced that this is the right place to put our time and energy. This organization will do everything in its power to, it's very political. It's a basically democratic liberal organization that really has very negative opinions of the Republicans, and they're holding the money, and then the Democrats, want it's very ugly. And I went to it last year. I felt like an outsider. It was not good. And in fact, the one presentation I went to was a former professor that I had, and she said, she was talking about how to teach reading, and she says, we don't need any of that phonics stuff, all those decodable texts. We don't need any of that. So, okay. So that's kind of the summary of that. So I'm putting that one on hold. We just had this one. Jeannie, are you on? Did you hop on?
Yes, I'm on. My apologies for my tardiness. So this event was on Monday, and we had almost 5,000 people registered for the event. And on the call, we had 700 live join. So I think that's one of the highest numbers I've ever seen on any of our events, 700.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty exciting. We were blessed to have a complimentary webinar with Susan Hall and Judy Carolio. So yes, and then Don, I see that we might have forgotten that we have the event coming up in March with Nancy Fetzer on the 17th, I believe. You might want to add that. She's doing one on opinion writing, how to write opinion writing. So it's kind of like the follow-up of what she did a month ago.
Yep. These are all free
So
events, by the way.
They were all, they like to say complimentary events, different connotation, right?
Oh, so
yes.
word, okay.
So we want to start using complimentary.
Complimentary. Okay, I'll remember that.
Yes, yes. So we have that coming up in March. She'll be, it's March 16th. And then Joe Sedita is April 17th, I believe, and she's gonna do orthographic mapping. So of the 700 people on that call, I don't know what the percentage from Wisconsin. So unfortunately.
April 17th, you said, you think?
I think so. I'll double check down and get back to you. It's in my email somewhere.
Okay, so the next state conference is the Wisconsin Oh, what does the C stand for?
Counselor or Council on Administrative and Support Services.
Something like that. Thank you. And that one is attended, it's special services is what it is. So special education, what do they call them? Directors. So that's May 3rd through 5th. And I heard from my friend who's in this organization, she said it's this particular session is about trauma. And I said, well, dyslexia certainly can fall into that category, you know, so I haven't heard, it's getting close. I don't know if we're going to even be part of that, but so that one may be on hold as well. And you know what, there's only so many, there's only so much energy we can put into this stuff. And since we're kind of new at it, you know, we have to pick and choose wisely. The Wisconsin Association of School District Administrators is in the fall, and I've already been asked to co-present with Deb Kerr, who is the superintendent of St. Francis School District, I believe, Mary, right? And because she just came back from Nashville, she actually wanted Nancy and I to go with her to co-present it was a national superintendent event, that one in Nashville that she just went to last week when I was in New Orleans. So that's coming up in the fall. I think that's an opportunity we cannot miss. So that's that. And other events, if you hear of anything, even on a small scale, you know, coffee chats or something from your library, you know, let us know, because this is how we get the word out. You may think you're not impacting someone, but if you just impact one person, it's a drop in the bucket, but it's at least one person that you have touched and informed, that you may never know the difference, but it could be very impactful.
Hey, Donna, sorry, I had that date. It's April 13th from 7 to 8 Central Standard Time.
Okay.
And then the same time for Nancy is 7 to 8 too.
So if you folks want to be a part of these events, all of them are listed on our Science of Reading, What I Should Have Learned in College, as well as the Wisconsin Reads site under the calendar. You can click it on and you can actually register there. Okay. So we've had some new members. Any other comments about this future events?
Do you want us to contact you directly if like, I'm thinking of like our school psych association in Wisconsin would be a great venue.
Yes.
Also at CISA 6, we have, they have half day trainings that, I mean, you could come in potentially for just a little bit or something. Somebody could potentially, I don't know if that would be of interest, but I know I'd love to have you there, but.
Well, CISA 6 is a tough bird to get into.
Well, I'm told they're getting better. I'm told that their leadership is trying to stray from the
really
language. Well, that's what I'm told. Whether, you know, because I know I was told recently that half of the districts that are part of their consortium were moving away from units of study as a result of the report coming out from Ed Reports. But
oh, amen.
Yeah, right. So anyway,
Well,
I'll let you know if I have any insight for you.
Please do. I do know that CISA 6, I heard an inside scoop that shifting the balance is being either presented there now, or they're doing the book study now of shifting the balance. So that may change everyone's opinion of what's going on. But yes, Brian, we would love to do something. So just, you know, especially for the school psychs. Yes, Phil.
I would just like to say, since you're discussing all these events that you want to do, as the person in charge of the funds here, the one thing I would like to ask for from now on any of these presentations is a budget before we undertake the project. Now I realize the the thing you guys did in January was short notice, and I commend you. I think it was a great thing to do, but we didn't really have a budget, and so it's a lot easier for us to keep our finances under control if we have an idea of what a project is going to cost. So what I would suggest is if somebody wants to propose one of these projects, that we do a game plan, an outline, and figure out within reason what this project is going to cost the task force. That way we'll be able to kind of have a handle on our expenditures.
Oh, for sure. Yes, Nancy.
I would support that, and I would also love to see us get our committees functioning and
Yes.
Have an annual budget. You have a healthy savings now. It'd be nice to explore investing some of that, so it's maybe even making more than interest. It would be nice to have so much extended for expenses for Donna's travel and for conventions and for scholarships and be able to-
believe me, I've thought about the investment part of it, but as I was the chairman of the finance committee of a nonprofit organization for 3 years, and one of the things that I discovered when we were attempting to invest money is if you're going to have a professional advisor work with you, even if you're a nonprofit, the level of money that we have to invest is not going to be of interest to them. And I don't know what the answer is for that. That's something I definitely want to look into, because, if anything, the way this organization is going to survive over the long term is to have a fund that is growing and stable, and a corpus of investment. And frankly, I don't think we're there yet, but it's something to work toward. I just wanted to get the money in a savings account to get started.
Just to get the committees functioning and absolutely get an initial budget so that can contribute and can.
Well, and we can if we're going to be fundraising, obviously there are other sources of funding that we could potentially tap into, grants or just charitable donations from concerned citizens. I mean, that goes a long way. But again, this, we took an organization that is basically stagnant and jump started it with a 24 volt battery. I mean, we are going full blast, and I don't know what else to say, but
well, I actually was going to address that in another item on committees. So
okay,
I appreciate that.
Said my piece.
That's
well,
fine.
and Donna, you had also mentioned the Curriculum Directors Conference, WASCD. That's in the fall, and I know you reached out to a contact about it. But so
That's
that
right.
might be another one to keep our eyes on, because the curriculum directors are the ones who are choosing what the curriculum review process and what to consider and what purchases. They're leading that process in districts. So
yeah, it would be worth it for a committee to put all this together, do some research and get the dates and everything, for the following year. Okay, very good. So we have some new members right here. You become a member when you give us $25. So it's easy. We hope to keep everyone coming back year after year and growing our little tribe here, and hoping, we can keep things going. So our bylaws say that we should have 4 meetings a year, but I think because we are just getting started, we really need to meet a little more often. So I set 6 for this year. Here are the dates. It'll be the same code that you have used for today. They all start at 6:30, and I believe they're all on Wednesday. I'm pretty sure. Okay, so now we're going to action items. So our first action item is to move the Literacy Task Force funds from the credit union to Nicolay Savings Bank, and that will occur in soon. So it's really, I don't even know if we need to take a vote on this. Should I practice?
Yes.
Well, you know, it's kind of a done deal already, but if you
Yeah.
want to have a vote, feel free.
So I'll make a motion to move Literacy Task Force of Wisconsin funds from the credit union to the Nicolay savings account.
Anyone second that?
I'll second it.
Well, okay.
All right, thank you. And so let's see.
Gotta
Seeing no
vote on
other
it.
questions or comments, do we have any questions or comments? All right, all in favor of the motion, please say aye or raise your hand.
I,
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 Any opposed? All right,
well, if I was opposed.
then I would just say you're outweighed.
You lose.
So the motion carries, right?
Yep.
Sound good? All right,
Good,
now,
Anna.
Yeah.
So just for note purposes, did the motion pass unanimously? Or was there one nay?
I was just teasing Nancy.
Okay. Want to make sure we're a legal organization.
Because Phil said it was a done deal anyways.
but this one isn't.
All right.
So if you look at our website, we have revamped the website. This was actually done without board approval. I apologize, but it is what it is. So it's there now. We are now operating. We rebranded ourselves for publicity purposes. I wanted to talk about the name change. It's our website says Wisconsin Reads, but if you go in the bottom, we are still, of course, the Literacy Task Force of Northern Wisconsin. I would like to have a discussion about a possible name change to officially to Wisconsin Reads, and I will give you my reasoning for that. I feel that the terminology task force is almost has a negative connotation in that it appears that it's we're out to do something and we are gathering together to change things, and which is not a bad idea, but it's a very
Militant.
yeah, assertive, type of, and I just want a softer tone, something that is more encompassing about what our goal is. And getting everyone in Wisconsin to read couldn't be more clear with wi.reads. So I would like to have a discussion on that, and your feelings about that, especially Connie, you've been through this through the beginning. And on a side note, I have to tell you, I just got hold of, let me show you. Let's see here. Oh, I don't have it with me, but it was the whole notebook. Oh, I do have it with me. It's the whole notebook of how the task force started, all the original bylaws and everything from Lee and all her notes. And
I have that right here. I'm holding it.
Yeah, hold it up, please. It's just so, to me, it was just really a slice of, there it is. I mean, everything is there. And it's a slice of history and of why this organization got started. And in fact, my signature is on the papers that we became when we became a nonprofit back in 2007.
Yep.
So it's near and dear to my heart. But I have to secretly tell you, Connie, you may not know this, I never really liked the name because I thought it just had this negative tone to it. So any discussion on that, of what, if you're opposed to that or agree? Karen has her hand up.
Yeah, so I'm pretty new, but I do know I've been studying like crazy since August, July. The task force, I didn't really take it as negative, but it felt small and like special. So it took me a little bit to figure out what was going on. I guess what I'm saying is I would support a name change as well. I feel like task force sounds like a really tight unit as opposed to a more open where you are very positive about reading. And yeah, I just, it's almost like you have to be a member to be a task force, but Wisconsin Reads is just more open, and I think it's a much more positive name change. So I would definitely support that.
Okay, thank you, Karen. That's a really good perspective. I never thought of it that way. Mary.
I agree with Karen. I just want to say I Googled Read Wisconsin to see, because you got Wisconsin Read. So what does Read Wisconsin pull up? And there's Read on Wisconsin, Go Big Read, Reading in Wisconsin, Reach Out and Read Wisconsin. Reads, which is the real estate automated data system in Wisconsin. Wisconsin Public Library Consortium pops up. So my only concern with the name Wisconsin Reads is are you gonna get the hits you want on Google, or is other things gonna pop up? So that's just something to think about, but I would advocate for a name change too.
So currently it's wi.reads. That's our
I thought it was dash. Wisconsin dash reads.
oh yeah, you're right. wi-reads.org is our task force. I guess you could say operating as right now. All right, Jackie.
Yeah, I think Wisconsin Reads is much better for marketing, and it does connotate a more global effort to make sure that all children read. And I think that a task force is more like a working group that tries to do stuff, but maybe doesn't achieve the end goal, where Wisconsin Reads is more of an optimistic outcome. So I just really think that's a good move. I don't have a history with this group, so perhaps there are some other people that have that are kind of clinging to the original group, but title. But I think that connotates a bigger, more visionary, more global effort for the state.
Thank you. Connie, do you want to say anything or?
I'm good with it. I know, how it started and, excuse me, the mission behind it and everything. And in a sense, it was a task force movement, so, take that however, there were people who were really out to make a difference, and they have, which form the foundation of where we are today and where we might be going. So I think that's the way it was. That was good, I feel. And, if we need to move on in another way, I guess I'm good with that.
Thank you. You're right, though. We were a task force.
Yeah. It was focused and dynamic, and, there was some strength behind it, and now it's just, it's grown, it's progressed and grown and great, great that it has. So.
All right. I just wanted your blessing, Connie.
Appreciate all the comments. What?
I just wanted your blessing.
Okay.
Connie, would you be willing to make a motion that we change the name to Wisconsin Reads?
Oh, gee. Yeah, I'll make a motion.
Okay. You made that motion?
Sure.
And
I'll second it.
All right. Thank you. Seeing no other questions or comments, all of those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Okay, any opposed?
Aye.
Hearing no opposition, the motion carries, I guess. I'm new at this, can you tell? Okay.
Kelly has her hand up.
Yes, Donna, maybe you can't see my hand.
There you are.
Something.
Okay.
I do have a question. And I think it was touched on, that maybe the Wisconsin Reads, there's other organizations that have similar names. Where do we have a mission statement, and where does that point of view, because I think that there's definitely a point of view in this group that I want to make sure that, or I would like to see that is, front and center. Even with Literacy Task Force, it's not quite clear. I mean, Wisconsin Reads, unless there's something bolstering it, I think it might just, people might think, oh, it's a library, we're giving books to kids, or something a little,
Oh, sure.
a little more generic. And I want to make sure that then if there's a second line or something to that is clearly stated, that kind of sums up the mission statement in a few words.
Like a tagline.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have for your homework is to read the bylaws. And so you will be able to see the mission statement there. And these are the original bylaws. Nothing's been changed yet. So take a look at those. And then if you go to wi-reads.org, the mission statement is there. We can, if you feel the mission statement is not appropriate or can be modified, we can certainly look at that. I would not be opposed to that at all. But I think the original intent of the task force just meshed beautifully with what the science of reading, what I should have learned in college, what our mission was. It was just a marriage meant to be. So everything happens for a reason, and this one certainly worked out for us. It just did. So so that's your homework, everyone, to read the bylaws for the next meeting. Okay, so we voted yes on that. So the other one is the next action item is mileage for board members to and from conferences, or maybe I should just say, or events, public events. And we will need a form for this. We could also table this until we have maybe a budget to look
Or
at.
wait till your finance committee or budget committee or whatever we're going to call it is formed. Because we're going to need a physical form. That's the other thing that's missing here. If the organization generates expenses, an individual, we need to have a piece of paper that person can submit with receipts and so forth to make a reimbursement, and we've got to develop that.
Okay, so I'm going to put a hold on, I don't know how to do this, Nancy, on item B. We just wait. Okay, we'll reconvene in April on this. Okay.
Yeah, you table it until next time.
Okay. All right, very good. All right. Same with item C, budget for conferences, speaking engagements. I put committee on there. I'd really like to have a committee for this. So we're going to table this also for the next time till April. And scholarships is item D. I just wanted to let you know how much we spent on scholarships last year. Again, Donna was operating the whole organization because that's what Donna did for a whole year and a half prior to this. So Donna just did it, but Donna shouldn't be doing that anymore. So in 2021, we awarded $24,000 in scholarships to the following companies. Top 10 Tools, they got about $13,000. That funded 128 people taking the course, which only 88 finished. We hosted EBLI, which stands for Evidence-Based Literacy Instruction. They did some trainings for us all summer that were free. She didn't charge me anything, but I charged the participants $15. All the money that we raised from that went back to her in the form of a scholarship. So we were able to buy 3 or 4 partial scholarships to her program. Teaching reading and spelling is another program out there. We provided, I think, $1,200 in scholarships to that company. Big Dippers, we funded 100 scholarships at $75 each, but only 58 completed, so only 58 got reimbursed. And so that totaled approximately 24,000 in scholarships. What I have found is that you don't give away money until the person has completed the scholarship, completed the class, then you can reimburse. We got burned. Out of the 128 for top 10 tools, only 88 passed or finished the class. And so we had to eat that. So we lost like $1,500 on that venture. I'm not willing to do that because Phil and I work really hard to do this every day, this management of all this, which is going to lead to another request that I have. I'm hoping that we can have a scholarship award committee for like long range. Yeah, I have it down for number 5. We need to be able to sit down and pick out where we want to send our money, how we want to spend our money, okay, for this year. I haven't awarded anything since last August. That was the last time I paid out. And I apologize, the dog is senile and wants my attention. Okay, the next one is committees. So because we have quite a few people here, I don't even know, what do we have now? A dozen, 15? This is great. This is amazing. We can actually have some committees. And these are some of the committees that I think I'd like to see. One is long range planning, and I'm talking, maybe two years down the road of what we could do. So if anyone wants to join me on what that would look like, Phil might need someone to do budget and finance with him. Professional development is kind of like long range planning, but it's more immediate of who we're going to line up for our trainings. And I can't really separate the Weiser page, our Wisconsin Science of Reading page, from the big Science of Reading page. They're similar. The Weiser page, does everyone know about our Weiser page? I don't think so. We've never even talked
You
about
might want to explain that because
So we have 2 Facebook pages presence. One is the national page, the Science of Reading, What I Should Have Learned in College. And the second page is we call Wiser, WI-SOR / Literacy Task Force of Wisconsin. And it's basically a Science of Reading page, but Wisconsin focused. And this is where I got most of the names of the people that are here. It's basically a mini version of the big page. So Jeannie pretty much mans that every day, posting all kinds of cool events or things to look at or current research, and has built up the membership to, what do you have, Jeannie, 1,500 or something?
Yeah, I believe we're about 1,500. Mhm.
Yeah, so
We're growing. I think we're one of the largest state organization of the Science of Reading Facebook pages. I think we have the most, one of the largest.
So, and by way of history, when I started the big page, the mothership, I like to call it, I don't know, maybe a year later, we started getting interest in other states having their own Science of Reading page. And so there's 47 Science of Reading pages across the nation. There's about 10 different countries, maybe more, that have their own Science of Reading page. There's other offshoots of the Science of Reading page. There's an administrator page. There's a higher education page. There's a book study page. There's so many offshoots from the mothership that it's been very impactful in many arenas. So it's just been a really wonderful thing that's happened. But I am looking for people to be on these committees. So what I'm asking you, this is going to be a working board. Everyone has to be on a committee, at least one. So I want you to think about it, and in the next month or so, let me know, probably in the next month, what you would like, because I want this settled and up and running starting in April when we reconvene. Okay? Any questions about what these would look like?
Donna, do you have any brief descriptions for them or for the committees?
No, but I could put some together.
All right, well, I mean, I think the titles say enough, but it, you know, as you want to recruit more people, it might help.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, I can certainly help with that too, if you like.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
But I need to know more, so I do it right.
Yeah, well, for sure. We can work on that, Mary. Okay, so we want.
Donna, I believe the bylaws state that the president can assign people to committees. So I would suggest sending out a Google form with the descriptions of the committees and allowing people to pick their, you know, top 2 or 3. But then using the process in our bylaws to have you officially assign the committees and just present them at the next meeting. Because you're going to want some balance amongst the committees so that they can have some workforce to get some stuff done.
Yep, great idea. Very good. Okay, so I will send that out. All right. Next item, project to spend monies earmarked. Okay, so we could probably table this for till April, which I think I'm going to, because Phil and I are going away for the month of March, and it's going to be just too crazy. But when Lee passed away, monies were collected. So what we would like to do is to make a special plaque for her at the Minocqua Library, because that's where we use, that's our hometown, and purchase some, this is my thought, and this is Connie's thought, is to purchase some decodable texts, decodable readers. And what I want to do is hold a, I'm so sorry. Is hold a workshop for teachers on decodable text versus leveled readers, to kind of introduce the whole event. And I was thinking of also doing the Rhinelander Library, because they're really close for up here, and we service both school districts. So Minocqua, Arborvita, MHLT, Minocqua, Hazelhurst, Lake Tom, and then the Rhinelander Library. So this is very local money. And we also got $500 in the fall from Nicolay Bank. Because we bank there with them, and they gave us money because we're a charitable organization. So we could add the 500 to the current 500 in the committee fund and make it $1,000 and do that. But if anyone wants to work on that with me, just to order the books and things like that, that's all we have to do. And then executive assistant, executive director. I don't know if anyone noticed, but running this organization is a whole lot of work that has turned into a full-time job for me. And I need some help with this. And so I'm looking to get some approval from the board to hire someone to help with day-to-day operations. And even questioning what the president's role is versus an executive director's role, because that's, most nonprofits have a paid executive director. Our bylaws indicate that officers cannot get paid. And so, you know, we have a situation here that is it's very trying, to say the least. So, any comments on that?
I have one. one of the things I neglected to say in our financial report is we're working on the tax filing that we're going to have to make with the IRS. It turns out the nonprofit deadline for that is May 15th, not April 15th, like everybody else. In the past, the organization was small potatoes in the eyes of the IRS, and the only tax filing that had to be made was a postcard. We've graduated to the big leagues, and now we're having to do a full-blown nonprofit organization tax filing. And we'll be meeting hopefully next week with an accounting firm that's going to work with us to get all of this stuff in order. One of the things about hiring an individual properly is we have certain obligations from a tax standpoint if we're paying somebody as a nonprofit. And that's one of the things that I'm investigating when we deal with our accountants to do the tax filing is, what do we need to have in place in order to be able to hire somebody and properly, manage that from an IRS standpoint. So, we're not ready to do that right now. It'll be good if the board decides that it is reasonable to hire somebody, that's fine. It's just, that's one of those things we can't just start up tomorrow until, we find out what our legal requirements are going to be. And I expect to have that information certainly by the next board meeting. So I just wanted to make sure everybody understood that it is, we've graduated to a different level of status in terms of the IRS, and with that are all kinds of other little things that we have to deal with. And so I just want everybody to understand that at this point.
Okay. Thank you. So I wanted to bring this to your attention. I want to table this till April. I can't make any decisions on this right now anyway. Again, we're going away, so that's where we stand on that. So for your homework, you need to read the bylaws for next time. And for our future topics, we are going to talk about the committees, the Lee Ganshaw expenditure, executive director, and the review of the bylaws. Any other issues? What do we want to say here? Not issues, but
I have something.
Yes.
And in that name change.
Yes.
Okay. When Phil was talking about, some of the legal requirements of hiring, we'll probably have to re-register, I imagine, something with the state with BFI and probably IRS also in the future, unless we're going to do it like a DBA or something. Okay.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up, because I think Phil and I have been talking about having a consult with an attorney to find out about the change.
Yep.
And so, maybe that's what we'll do before we go with the official name change.
I think so.
Is to go and talk to an attorney, so everyone's aware, and see if we can do a operating under, what is it called, DBA?
Doing business
as, or officially change it, which will require us to change all of our records and our banking and everything else. So, not something I'm looking forward to, but okay. So if we do change it, it's been voted on. I guess we kind of did this backwards, but we're gonna look for an attorney. And
well, I think we haven't really done it backwards. I think what's gone on here is, everybody agrees that calling it Wisconsin Reads is probably a better thing than the Literacy Task Force. It's just a question of how are we going to present that?
Right.
I mean, it may be easier. And again, this is something the attorney will tell us in the first 5 minutes that we're talking with him or her, is it's going to be easier to just say, put a little copyright Literacy Task Force of Northern Wisconsin Incorporated on the bottom of every web page in little bitty print, and then just somewhere say doing business as Wisconsin Reads. Or, it may be very easy to change the name. We don't know. That's what the lawyer is going to tell us.
Okay. All right.
Do go back and approve the minutes from the last meeting,
Yes.
because we don't need that.
I just wanted to add something that Phil was talking about. Our business, we have two companies, and the first one is Bayview Industries, and then we have our own line of furniture called Surface Works, and nobody ever knows that Bayview Industries has anything to do with it. But in our legal filings, that's the place where it comes up, where we say, Surface or Bayview Industries DBA Surface Works. And those are very rare that we end up describing it that way. But everything else, our website, everything says Surface Works, and we don't even say it anywhere that our parent company is Bayview Industries. Just putting that out there.
Okay.
It works really well to just do it that way, if that's what if that's how you want to do it.
Very good. That's good to know. All right, Kelly. All right, there was one more member that hopped on, Paula Stone. Would you like to introduce yourself before we say goodbye?
Okay, I will. Thank you. Sorry I was late. I'm a private tutor and I have a student on Wednesdays until 6:50. I'm a private reading tutor. I'm Orton Gillingham trained. I'm an Alta CALP. This was all kind of a midlife career change for me. I was a ESL teacher for 6.5 years before I got into this. I did my training through the Children's Dyslexia Center of Milwaukee. And I'm just completely fascinated with the science of reading and teaching kids how to read. I became a private reading tutor, dyslexia tutor. I started my business 2 months before the pandemic, which in some ways was great. That's why I wear a headset. I have clients all over the country, which I found through Facebook. And I have some local kids too. So yeah, I just want to figure out how I can help get the word out. It's a passion, and it's like, this isn't that hard. It shouldn't be that hard.
Shouldn't be that hard. That's right.
Yeah.
My new motto is follow the science. Right? It's in the news. We might as well use it.
Right.
Okay, any other items? Anything else? Final comments?
So Donna, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from December 2021.
I approve. I second that motion.
Okay.
Thank you for remembering.
Yeah.
Okay. This Robert's rules, not my thing. Just want to say. but I can learn.
Want to call for a vote?
Pardon? We'll call for a vote. Yes. Do I hear everyone in favor? Everyone in favor say aye.
Aye.
No one opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Okay. Thank you for your time. I do want to honor your time. This was a very long meeting. I hope to make them an hour or less, but we had a lot to cover. Thank you for being here and your passion and your expertise. I just want to thank you. And I think with all this energy and new life being bred into this, breathed in, you know what I'm trying to say, I think we're going to do really well. It's exciting to see. So thanks for your time. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Donna.
Bye.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Bye.
See you next time.
Next time.